long as we're together, we're good, sir. I got to check. Okay. Good morning, everyone. It is a great day to be out here today, and we're going to get this wonderful celebration kicked off. So I'd invite you to please rise for the national anthem and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please take your seats. So welcome, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Again, it's a fantastic day. My name is Colonel Drew Kelly. I'm the district commander for the Jacksonville District, United States Army Corps of Engineers, and will be your host for today. Before we begin, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us today as we celebrate the completion of construction on the Kissimmee River Restoration Project, and it's been a long time coming. Before we start, I'd like to recognize quite a few individuals here with us. Thank you to the offices of Senator Marco Rubio, Congressman Brian Mast, Congressman Greg Stubbe, Congressman Byron Donalds, Congressman Darren Soto, and Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy. Thank you for having your staff join us here today. We also have Florida Representatives Toby Overdorf and Dana Tablusi with us. The Acting Secretary of the Army, Mr. Jamie Pinkham, is right here with us and will help us kick off this celebration. We also have our Deputy Commanding General for Emergency Operations, Major General William Graham. Sir, welcome back to South Florida. We've got members of our federal family here today, including Ms. Shannon Estenos. Oh, hey, ma'am. Adam Gelber, Kevin Berger, and we've got phenomenal partners from the state of Florida. The Interim Secretary of Florida for the Department of Environmental Protection, Mr. Sean Hamilton, Mark Raines, the Chief Science Officer at DEP, and Wes Brooks, the Director of Federal Affairs. Mr. Chauncey Goss, the Chairman of South Florida Water Management District Governing Board, and we also have several other governing members with us today, including Jacko Thurlipish, Cheryl Meads, Charlotte Romaine, Ben Butler, and of course, Executive Director Drew Bartlett, the other Drew. We also have the Mayor of Okeechobee, Dowling Watford, Henry County Commissioner Carson Turner, and Martin County Commissioner Doug Smith. I'd also like to thank Thomas Reinert and his staff for the Florida Fish Wildlife Conservation Commission for supporting this event today. So thank you again for coming to this important event. We're here today to celebrate the ribbon cutting of the Kissimmee River Restoration Project, which is the culmination of the work of many people over several decades, starting in the mid-'70s. So I got the great honor to stand here with a ceremonial shovel that was here for the groundbreaking. So just to set it in perspective, we get to ribbon cut with the same shovel that we started this whole thing over 30 years ago. All right, so thank you everyone who worked on this project in every capacity. The ribbon cutting is dedicated to everyone who helped us to get us to this point. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And all the stakeholders and partners and our people are our strength, and we put the hard work in to keep the momentum going. And this is just one of those moments where we can continue to celebrate that momentum. We've got a lot of work to do, but it's a good time to pause and just show the work that we've been doing so far. The Kissimmee River Restoration Project, first successful, large-scale, active riverine ecosystem restoration project in the country and even in the world. All eyes are on us. The world is watching as we set the standard and create the model for science-based ecosystem projects worldwide. The Kissimmee River Restoration is proof positive that if we build it right, they will come, and it serves as the foundation for the comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan. Today we celebrate the completion of the construction phase with many of the people we've worked so hard to maintain the momentum on this project for more than 30 years. We owe all of our partners a huge debt of gratitude for their continued support on this project, on Everglades restoration, on the low sum process we are involved in right now. I encourage you to take time after this ceremony to look at the posters that are behind you and we put up to learn more about how we've done this tremendous project, the Kissimmee River Restoration. For hosting this event, I want to thank Lisa Kerwin, Assistant Director of FAU's Center for Environmental Studies, who has been managing Riverwoods under contract with the South Florida Water Management District for more than 20 years. She has taught thousands of people about the Kissimmee River Restoration Project. Thank you again for coming, and now I'd like to introduce some of the speakers from the partnerships that have made today possible. So first is Mr. Jamie Pinkham, who was appointed the Principal Deputy of the Assistant Secretary of the Army for Civil Works in April. As Principal Deputy, he provides policy and performance oversight of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Civil Work Program. The Civil Works Program consists of water resources development, including navigation, flood control, hydroelectric power generation, municipal and industrial water supply, outdoor recreational facilities, fish and wildlife habitat restoration, and ecosystem management. Mr. Pinkham also provides direction on the development and articulation of the Department of the Army's policies and practices in support of the Clean Water Act, the Rivers and Harbors Act, and related core regulatory programs. He is absolutely no stranger to ecosystem restoration and the natural environment. He's the executive director of the Columbia River Fish Intertribal Fish Commission in Portland. He was the senior advisor at Native Governance Center in St. Paul. He's also on several boards, including the Governing Council on the Wilderness Society, the American Rivers Board of Directors, and the Yukon River Intertribal Watershed Council. So thank you, Mr. Pinkham, for being here today, and I want to especially thank you for making it a priority to come down within the first 90 days of your appointment and come visit us in South Florida. So thank you, sir.
So thank you, Colonel Kelly. And out of the bio, nothing pleases me more than to come down and celebrate the good work of good-hearted people. And it's with a tremendous amount of pride that I join you as the acting Assistant Secretary of the Army for Civil Works. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say, Tatsmewi inam himyuma Himukas Katstiao, Tatokan Semino, Tatokan Mikasuki. And that's just in my language to recognize the original stewards and inhabitants of this beautiful land that they've called home. The Kissimmee chain of lakes and rivers are foundational to the comprehensive Everglade restoration plan. This is the headwaters of a magnificent ecosystem that goes from the headwaters all the way down to the Florida Bay. And through this program, when we are reminded of what we always knew, that Florida's delicate ecosystem is truly unique and requires special care. And as stewards of this land, we share a responsibility to ensure its durability. But I think it's also another lesson about the importance about taking the cue from the natural world, the ability to restore Kissimmee's, and I believe this river has a strong memory, and it's going to adapt to its original path and its original purpose. And so I'm proud of the lessons that we have all learned, and so we're celebrating lessons learned. And you created a template for others to follow. And you didn't think small. You think big. As one of the largest ecosystem restoration projects this world has witnessed. And finally, let me speak to the importance of the working relationships with the non-federal sponsors. You know, the Army Corps of Engineers in my 3 months here, I've learned of the tremendous dedication individually and as an organization. And we could not fulfill our work without the partnerships such as the South Florida Water Management District. I mean, what a tremendous partner. And this is the start of many completions that we look forward to achieving together. And so I want to thank those partners from the agencies, but I also want to thank the people who've long lived along this river, tribal and non, who understand the sacrifices it takes that makes bring a project like this to come to success, because this is their home. These are the lands they love. And while we celebrate today, let's remind ourselves of the work ahead. And this administration has prioritized the comprehensive ecosystem restoration plan for the Everglades, providing in the president's budget one of the largest set-asides for this ongoing work. So let me pledge to you and the partners that Army Civil Works looks forward to joining you step by step, sequence by sequence, to have more celebrations like this. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pinkham, for joining us today. Also joining us is one of the newest members of our federal family. She's worked on ecosystem restoration for many years and has seen it from many perspectives. She was recently sworn in as the Assistant Secretary for Fish and Wildlife and Parks of the U.S. and the Department of the Interior. Ms. Shannon Estenos is certainly no stranger, and it is great to see you again and have you back home, ma'am.
Oh my goodness. Goodness. Good morning, everyone. Let me start by expressing on behalf of the U.S. Department of the Interior my gratitude and congratulations to all of the men and women whose work we're celebrating today. And I don't know if it's because I'm getting old, but every time I come to one of these events, I also just think about all the folks who aren't here, but on whose shoulders we stand, and on who, next to those folks, we stood shoulder by shoulder. You know, for me, I think about rock salt. I think about, I think about Rosa Durando. I think about people that had big imaginations like Jim Webb and Bruce Babbitt, Bob Graham. Anyway, for those of you who are in touch with those folks who have worked on this project, please consider reaching out to them today. Send them a little thank you note. They may have been disconnected from the Kissimmee for 20 years. Send them a note, send them a photo from this event, and remind them that we did it together and that they were a big part of it. I also think about Nat Reed, but I just assume Nat Reed's here. So he's in a different category. He's watching us very closely, so I think of him a little bit differently. So you've restored a river, and I'm going to come back to the river at the end of my remarks. But the first thing I want to do is mention a couple of concepts that this restoration project represents that I think are bigger than the project itself. So first and foremost, you have demonstrated that it is possible to think, to invest, and to act at the ecosystem scale when it comes to restoring nature. And this is the scale that we're talking a lot about in the country. The President's America the Beautiful initiative is talking about programs exactly like this that are born up at the local level, that includes state partners, local partners, private landowners, tribes, and that act locally to restore those features of the landscape that we value and that are so important. You've demonstrated that those activities can include the reimagining, reconfiguring, and even dismantling of big infrastructure that most of us think of as permanent. I, like many of you, were on the C-38 canal. I was on the C-38 canal in the mid-1990s, and I'm telling you, I distinctly remember I was on the boat sitting next to Tom Lodge, who many of you know, and I had a complete failure of imagination. I was like, are these people crazy? This canal is permanent. This is huge. What do they mean they're gonna fill it in? Thank God I was not in charge of the Kissimmee River Restoration Project. Thank God we had Teresa Woody, whose imagination was big enough to imagine that it was possible. And it wasn't people like me. She brought people like me along. But you've shown that we really can do anything, and we can correct the mistakes that we've made in the past or rethink our priorities and reimagine our landscapes. So that's number one. You've provided a proof of concept. And I'll tell you, there are a lot of people all over the country thinking about their own landscapes in the same way and probably having crises of imagination, just like I did. And y'all are here showing, no, it actually can be done. And come down and see it. We'll tell you how we did it. And hopefully we'll export some of those ideas and help folks imagine their own futures. The other thing that the Kissimmee River has taught us is that when it comes to ecosystem restoration, the most important step that you take is every step that you take. Now, what does that mean? The Kissimmee River has been healing for more than 10 years now. It's not like we're going to cut the ribbon today and it starts to heal tomorrow, okay? Back in 2010, the South Florida Ecosystem Restoration Task Force submitted its biennial report to Congress, the legislature, and the tribes. And at that time, here's what it reported. Natural flow has been reestablished for 22 of the 43 miles of the historic meandering Kissimmee River. 6,500 acres of floodplain wetlands have been restored. Several species, including the ringneck duck, American avocet, blackneck stilt, have returned to the Kissimmee River after an absence of 40 years. That was 11 years ago, people. We're cutting the ribbon now. What does this tell us? It tells us that every opportunity that we give nature to heal, she's going to seize the opportunity. She's like a running back. We give her an opening, she's going to run through it. So yes, groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings on big projects are really important, but we should be reorienting ourselves in a way that we think every single day, how can we give nature a chance today? How can we manage this flood event? How can we manage this drought event? How can we operate this structure that gives nature a chance today? Because every day that she thrives is a day that she's building resilience to take on the next challenge that confronts her while she's waiting for restoration to be complete. So we learned that lesson first here in the Kissimmee. So you all have restored a river. I think more than any other geologic feature, rivers and people kind of go together, right? So for millennia, indigenous people, great cities have grown up on the banks of rivers. Rivers feed us. They feed us with their direct bounty, but they also irrigate our crops. They nourish our fisheries, right, that we then harvest. They build fertile deltas and floodplains that we then cultivate. For years, they were our highways. They carry our goods. They carry our people. They carry our armies. They have stopped our armies dead in their tracks. They are powerful things. They inspire our greatest artists, writers, composers, painters, poets, spiritual leaders, right? So many things in human life have happened down by the riverside, right? And every generation comes and it takes what it needs from its river, and then it hands that river to the next generation. That happens over and over again for millennia. And this generation all over the world is inheriting rivers, many of which are in trouble. Many of them often run dry now. Many of them, fish populations have just a toehold trying to hold on. Many of them are choked with algae, right? Many of them have been completely cut off from their floodplains. They don't even look like rivers. The C-38 did not look like a river, I can tell you. That's happening all over the world, but not here. It's not happening here. You guys are leaving a Kissimmee River healthier than the one that was given to you. You're leaving a Kissimmee River with a brighter future than the one that was given to you. And that is a remarkable, remarkable legacy. I return to gratitude, and, I want to express my gratitude to my team who's here. We've got Adam Gelber, we have John Galvez, Larry Williams, Kathleen Burchett, Nick Amon is here, Neil White is also here. It's folks like that. It's like all of you who have come together and have something to be unbelievably proud of. I am so grateful to be among you today. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to speak. Thank you, Corps of Engineers, for inviting me. And I'm really looking forward to being on the river today. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Next, I would like to introduce Sean Hamilton, the Interim Secretary of the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, who will be a critical leader in the partnership between the Corps of Engineers and the state of Florida on these projects. Please welcome Mr. Hamilton.
Thank you, Colonel, for that introduction. It's an honor to be here to share in this historical occasion. And Shannon, thank you for that. Crisis of imagination, I love that. It's that crisis that forced me to leave a short-sleeved, comfortable shirt in the closet of the hotel this morning. So, thank you. I appreciate that. Lesson learned. To our guests from Washington, I want to welcome you to the very, very Sunshine State. Everglades restoration is a joint effort between the state and our federal government. While today represents a tremendous achievement, the state of Florida is not, I repeat, is not declaring mission accomplished. Our governor recognized early on that we cannot afford to spend 3 decades planning and constructing each of the dozens of projects already in the pipeline. Governor DeSantis decided that the state must boldly lean into an Everglades restoration efforts and shake up the project delivery schedule. When the governor took office, he signed an executive order that expedited Everglades restoration and water quality projects around the state that would have the biggest impact on the lives of Floridians and the ecosystems that drive our economy. I'm proud to say that the Kissimmee River Restoration Project was identified as one of the governor's key priority projects in the governor's executive order. He also set a bold vision for a $2.5 billion investment to be made in Everglades restoration and Florida's water resources over 4 years. Under this administration has been a priority to accelerate ongoing projects and advance the groundbreaking of new projects. That's why we have prioritized a multitude of projects to support our efforts to restore the Everglades, reduce harmful estuary discharges, and send more water south. 3 years later, the governor has kept his promise to Floridians and our environment, and today we reach another milestone with the completion of the construction phase of the Kissimmee River Restoration Project. The Kissimmee River Restoration Project is a testament to the ingenuity and the dedication of the people who have worked hard to get this done. And as we heard, not limited by crisis of imagination. I thank the governor for his leadership on environmental protection and restoration. And thank you to the Army Corps of Engineers for your hard work on the construction of this project. And thank you to the South Florida Water Management District for the land acquisition and for all of the extensive biological monitoring and research that underpins this project. I'm proud of continued progress on Everglades restoration projects, and we are going to keep up this momentum and complete projects as quickly as possible. Our natural resources are our legacy for our children and grandchildren. Restoring Kissimmee River took a generation to fix, and we cannot let up now to do even more for our environment. Lake Okeechobee is at the heart of the Everglades system, and we must capitalize on the projects all around Lake Okeechobee to restore our river of glass. That's why you see progress on projects like the EA Reservoir, C-44 Reservoir, the C-43 Reservoir, and the Lake Okeechobee Watershed Restoration Project. Colonel Kelly, we look forward to breaking ground with you this year on your portion of the EA Reservoir. And I look forward to many more of these ribbon cuttings across South Florida. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Next, I want to introduce Chauncey Goss, the chairman of the governing board of the South Florida Water Management District. The Water Management District is a phenomenal partner and the non-federal sponsor for most of the Everglades and South Florida restoration projects. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Chauncey Goss. Thanks, sir.
Hey, thanks, Colonel, very much. What a great day it is, and what a gorgeous day it is, too. And on behalf of the South Florida Water Management District, welcome to the heart of the Kissimmee River Basin, the Riverwoods Field Lab. It's easy for me to say. I'm trying to see who's here from my governing board. I've got a great group. My name is Chauncey Goss, as the Colonel said, and I'm from Lee County, and I have the privilege of serving as the chairman of the district board. And I want to recognize, Jackie Thurl-Lipich is right here from Martin County. We've got Cheryl, I don't see Cheryl. Charlotte Romant from Collier County. And a native to this beautiful part of Florida, Ben Butler from right here in Highlands County. So it's safe to say the district is geographically well represented here today, and it shows the importance of the Kissimmee River Restoration Project to the entire region. I want to say thanks to the officials from the Corps. Thanks for making a trip. It's a big trip down here, and we really appreciate your being here. At the district, we're responsible for flood protection, water supply, and the most ambitious ecosystem restoration effort in the world, restoring America's Everglades. Everglades restoration is a joint effort between the state and the federal government, but under Governor Ron DeSantis' leadership, the state of Florida continues making major strides and significant investments to restore our Everglades. A number of the speakers before me talked about generations, and this restoration has been going on for generations, and it makes me think a little bit about it. and how long it has been going on. My dad worked on this, and he's told me stories about landing right here with Bob Graham in a helicopter, and at times when I don't think they were particularly popular, but it was a time when this was just getting going, and I think about, okay, I get to work on this now. I get to have a ribbon cutting, and I'm hoping my children, as the next generation, are going to be able to come out here and enjoy this gorgeous place. And so I think of it that way. This project was first considered, I understand, back in 1976. And just to put that in perspective, it's a year I remember really well. It's not because I was 10. It's because it was the year of the bicentennial. And if you think back to the bicentennial and think of some of those coins you might find lying around with the 1776, 1976, those are really old. So here we are all this time later, finally getting on. So I guess good things come to those who wait. And fortunately, our governor decided that waiting is over. And he identified this project as a priority, and he instructed us to finish it without delay. And the Corps joined us in that, and we thank you very much, gentlemen, for helping us. The reconstructed floodplain, the 12,000 acres of reconstructed wetlands, and the 40 miles of reconstructed historic river channel are already demonstrating a benefit to native fish and birds. And for those who are nervous as to whether this restoration would work, I have two words for you. It has. After the river was channelized, the loss of floodplain and the changes in flow caused some native species to decrease as much as 90%. But almost immediately after restoration, scientists report they're starting to bounce back. Now that the river has been restored, the district is going to operate its water management system to restore the natural hydrology to the headwater lakes, the river, and its floodplain to mimic historic flows. This is what it means to do more now for Florida's environment, and we're going to continue celebrating ribbon cuttings like these all across the Everglades system. Thanks, everyone, for being here today, and please come out and enjoy the kayaking, bird watching, and other recreational activities on this gorgeous river. I'm going to end my remarks now by saying a special thank you to Drew Bartlett, our executive director at the district. Drew and the men and women of the district who make up this incredible organization, it's not lost on me or my fellow board members what you do to make it so we can have ribbon cuttings. I know people have been working on this for a long time, and many people have dedicated their lives to putting the wiggle back in the river, and I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize them and thank them. I'd like to hit on something that Shannon said. We are truly standing on the shoulder of giants here today, and we thank you for all of your hard work and really look forward to the ribbon cutting. Colonel, thanks.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir. You do truly represent a great partnership, not only for this project, for all the projects we do together, so thank you so much. Now I'd like to introduce the chair of the County Coalition, Henry County Commissioner Carson Turner.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Colonel. I want to tell you, this is beyond a monumental occasion for me, and I'm usually not an emotional person. I'm very fiery, right? I'm subtle, calm all the time, right? But when you open up your remarks, sir, speaking in a Native American tongue, and representing the Seminole Tribe of Florida, as a commissioner in Henry County, the largest tribal reservation is part of my district, and I lost a great friend. I lost Cicero Osceola, just a little while ago, and I know my boy's here with us this morning. Drew, y'all seen us come into meetings a handful of times together. We served on the rack together, and I know Cicero's here with us this morning, and I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed to have been able to sit around a table with my grandpa, who had a third grade education, who fixed the brakes on train cars at United States Sugar Corporation, and that's what brought him down to Florida. And hear about the Corps of Engineers screwing up the Kissimmee River when they straightened it out. And that's why the lake's so dirty. Boy, when I was your age, or when you're out there wading with your daddy and you can't see your shoes right now, it's because they straightened out that river. They straightened out that river and they messed it up. Well, guess what? We fixed that. We fixed it all together. What the Corps has done is absolutely stunning. I remember walking into a district office with a conference table bigger than any one I've ever wanted to sit around and meet with other humans with, and they had satellite pictures. They had the GIS map of the canal as it was, and then they had the oxbows and all of the different bends and whatnot, and they were the different sections. And I said, these people have lost their minds. There's absolutely no way. And then Shannon echoes exactly what I was thinking, you know. And I was a young buck when I walked into that office. I remember that, though, so vividly. We were having a contract dispute while we were in there visiting with people, and it just happened to be another sidebar. I also think back to the different men that I see in this audience, men and women, actually. And I know about the volume of cattle that have been ran on the banks of this river. And the fact that a cow-calf operation now is still happening. You know, the volume of head has gone down a little bit, but it's still happening, not at the magnitude that it used to happen, but the volume of homes that are on there now and what they're feeding into it and how that's able to settle out now because oxbows exist. And a little sidebar, too, Representative Overdorf, y'all have done a great job of implementing a civics curriculum. We need to implement a education curriculum about our water. Collier County does a great job of it with the Southwest Florida area. I graduated from Clewiston High School. The restaurant that you went to eat your prom dinner was, from 9th to 12th grade, was Oxbow's. It was the Oxbow's Country Club over in LaBelle. I don't know if anybody remembers it. I had no clue what an oxbow was until Jackie Thorough-Lippich and Teresa Heitman and I went down the Lake Okeechobee River, and I had been educated by my friends with the Audubon Society, and they said, good Lord, bud, if you're going to be in some of the circles you run in, you need to know a little bit more environmental vernacular. So, you know, we've got all those back in play here today. But I'll tell you, I am honored. I'm honored to be able to speak amongst these giants that spoke before me. I am honored to be involved with this. I see my colleague, Commissioner Doug Smith, and I look at the number of trips that we made to D.C. Doug Smith is from Jensen Beach, Stewart. And if you think there ain't a difference between a commissioner from Jensen Beach and Stewart, or Sanibel with Mick Denham going up to D.C. with me, and now Kevin Ruan is stepping into that role, and all of the commissioners in between, Arlene Tuck, Frank Mann from Lee County. When you read the Fort Myers News Press or you read the Palm Beach Post, and then you read the Clewiston and Okeechobee News, it's different headlines, right? Wee bit. But I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we went up to Tallahassee and we said, listen, we're going to park all of our issues. And we're going to go up there and we're going to literally hold hands. We're going to sing from the exact same sheet of music. And we're going to ask, we're going to beg, borrow, steal, plead. We're not going to cheat as much as we can get away with, okay? But we're going to have a hyper focus of Herbert Hoover Dike restoration, Kissimmee River restoration, and let's let our legislators know that we need the money so that these gentlemen and fine women that work in all of those operations as well can get on the same page and push these projects out, and we can do these silly things here where we have a great photo op and everybody gets excited about it. And I tell you, this is nothing short of amazing. And everyone here, what you've done is job well done. And the different rooms that you have to sit in, the stuff that I remember Lieutenant Colonel Jennifer Reynolds having to go through, and Colonel Kelly, what y'all do, and you know that meeting that we had yesterday was it's a great banter back and forth. And we're moving the ball down the field. I put everything in an athletics realm. We're moving the ball down the field, and by God, today is a score. You know, I think this is a touchdown with an extra point. Maybe even we went for 2 and got it, okay? But with that, I'll hush. Thank you so much for the opportunity. United States Army Corps of Engineers, South Florida Water Management District governing boards, all those members, Governor DeSantis, job well done. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much. So thanks again to everyone coming here today. And I also want to say a special thanks because I can see some of the landowners out here, right? Thank you for caring for this land. Thank you for providing the land as an opportunity to do this tremendous job. So thank you so much for coming and joining us today. So now that we're done with the formal part, we're going to take just a couple minutes and get set up and cut a ribbon, do the photo op. But, you know, want you to let you know we've got some airboat tours. You know, the airboat's lined up right up here following the ribbon cutting. So if you'd like to stick around for that. I'm going to ask all of you to join us now for the ribbon cutting of the Kissimmee River Restoration Project. If you'll bear with us for just a couple of minutes, get the photos set up and get the people set up, we're gonna go ahead and cut that ribbon. It's not only about successful restoration, it's also about the successful partnerships that make them happen that we've heard so much about today. The red ribbon represents the Corps, The blue ribbon will represent our partners in restoration and the South Florida Water Management District. So in just a minute, we will count us down for the ribbon, but just give us 1 second to get prepared and come on up. Yeah, oh, he's moving for you. Isn't that awesome?
Get up there and get your scissors.
I gotta go back into my early days of COVID approach of disassociating with the fridge. I fall backwards, man. See you. This took over 40 years of people involved in this. The headwinds they had to fight in the beginning. Yeah, no, I'm writing a paper, but I still have my road. Kimmel,
Just closed on building a home.
There's like a lot of riding the cab. If you go online, you can see it. Well, apparently occasionally that he's doing that.
Where's Colonel Kelly?
I heard someone got 2 nests.
He wants the shovel. He's up there. Oh, he's got scissors. Nah, I doubt it. No, ribbon cutting yet. That's groundbreaking ribbon cutting.
Look over here. These scissors don't work.
Well, you could come to Wellington.